Hi, dear language learners. As those of you who frequently watch my videos know, I'm a huge fan of simplicity. And today, this is so great. I want to bring you a very, very simple principle that you can use anytime you ask yourself. And this is a typical problem in language learning. Where do I start? When you fall into that overwhelm, and I suffered from this a lot when I learned English first as as my second language. I didn't know where to start. So whenever you ask yourself, oh my God, it's so much. Look at all these books, look at all these lessons, look at the grammar. Where do I start? Apply this principle and it will help you to get out of that overwhelm in 1 second. I'm Dr. Alex. I'm a social psychologist. I'm a polyglot. I speak 4 languages and I'm currently learning my 5th language. And I'm a language coach. And I apply the principles, the fundamental laws of social psychology to language learning to have you finally speak fluently with that unshakable confidence that gives you that joy of speaking and that joy of having learned so many years that new language. Now, this very simple principles goes like this. If you have watched my last video on what actually boosts your memory, you will remember that there is this, watch the video, I invite you to, but you will remember that there's this principle once you have sense making and meaning, once you have a meaningful experience and at the most with some emotions involved, once you feel something, then your brain will memorize because it's relevant to your life. And because your brain is like, oh, this is relevant for me to live a nice life, so I will memorize it. Now, whenever you ask yourself the question, where do I start? Start at the millisecond, at the actual moment where you're actually standing right now in your life, which means you apply this question. You say, what am I going to say next? Or if you haven't got a talking partner at the moment, what am I going to think next? Or what are you thinking at the moment? I give you an example. Before I decided to record this video for you, I was thinking, currently I have a problem with my computer, and I was thinking, how do I record or how do I prepare my next lesson without my computer? Because the computer did not work as it would, and so on and so forth. So this sentence stuck in my head. So this is what I'm thinking about at the moment. How do I work without my computer functioning correctly? And so that is what you start with, because you would say it anyway in your real life. So I was looking up actually in my 5 minutes a day how I would say that in Italian, because that's what I'm learning at the moment. And so on the go, I learned the sentence, how would I prepare the lesson if my computer is not working? And I looked up the future tense because it was a form come preparerò. So on the go, I looked up the future tense, how is this formed? And I learned without the computer, senza il mio computador, no, senza il mio computer. Those of you who speak Italian fluently, as always, feel free to correct me. So this is the answer to the question is you need to start with your real life. This is actually also one of the reasons why I never follow the order of a book or any given language course. I actually follow my own routine. So, which means, what is the next sentence I would need in my real life to express myself? What do I need? Because as soon as you need something to communicate, if you need that sentence to make sense of your life or to communicate to a person, you then will memorize because you need it and it becomes relevant. So relevancy, sense making or meaningful experience, and ideally some feeling. So for example, the best language studying moments are when you feel something. For example, I was quite annoyed before when my computer was not working. So I was like, okay, now I need to memorize that sentence because I will remember that because I felt quite annoyed. And so I will remember that sentence. or whenever you actually are out and about and you start interacting with people who speak the language already, use these moments, because that is when your brain switches on experience mode and feeling mode, and so you will memorize quicker. Now, what I do myself as well as a language coach in my courses, actually, I never impose any structure to my students. I never say, okay, this is lesson one, we need to now learn this and this structure, and in lesson two, we will do this. No. I first ask my students, what do you need right now in the target language? What do you need to communicate? What do you need it for? Why are you studying it? So if the client tells me, I need it for my job and I have this challenge coming up, we're working on exactly that. And we're working on what the actual person needs to communicate. It's the same, it works both ways for me as a learner and for me as a teacher. We need to follow our real life, because then it has a sense for our real life, and also it will bring us emotions, and ideally positive emotions, because with the learning comes as well, oh, I can already say that and use that for my real life. And then you have that feedback loop to your brain. Oh my God, I can express myself in the target language. I used that already in the real life. And then you will be so motivated. So apart from this effect of moving you out of overwhelm, it will move you out of procrastination as a side effect, because you feel motivated, because you already mastered some first situations in the language and it seems so easy. And I'm not saying it seems, because I don't want to say, oh, it seems, and in reality, it's really difficult. No, it's really, really, really easy actually to learn a language that way. And for those of you who have been following my channel, I always stress that that is exactly how children learn a language. They don't follow the order of a book or any imposed rhythm that some teacher would say, okay, first of all, before you express anything in the future tense, you need to learn XYZ. It doesn't work like that. Real life is not like that. Real life follows the order of our experience, of our life, of what we need to communicate next. And this is what we need to apply the language to. So whenever also you ask yourself the question, yeah, but there's so much to choose from, I don't know what to choose. Again, start with your own life. Choose what you will do today in your life, what you will communicate today. So for example, if as a next step you do a phone call in your office, or if you do a phone call to somebody, this will be your next lesson. This will be your next 5 minutes that you then translate. Well, you know what my opinion is about translate. In the first, it depends on your level. In the first instances, it will be translating. But if you're already on an intermediate stage, you can also think of creating that sentence without thinking of your mother tongue or your root language. To create that sentence, to think, okay, how would I master the same situation in the target language? Please drop me comments how this resonates, because actually what this does, I mean, for me, this principle was a complete revelation, because it actually took out this whole overwhelm out of language studying, in terms of there's so much. You know, this feeling when you just feel bogged down because you feel, oh God, there's so much, especially, and that's the disadvantage of books. Books, you actually see from the volume of a book, you see how much it is in one go, and that usually has me demotivated, sorry, because I feel, oh my God, so much, so much. You need to break down the big mountain into small chunks of 5 minutes every day, chunks that actually come from your real life. And that is my little simple hack for you today. So really, I'm looking forward to your comments. Drop me a comment if that helps you for the overwhelmed question of what do I start with? Because what I want with this channel is that we communicate, that we share experiences, and that we help each other to get out of that. I call it's the old framework that we inherited from the past, where it worked very, very well with the means we had in the past. But we need to get out of that old framework of grammar focused studying of languages, which grammar, as always, I can't stress that enough, is really useful, but it can't be the first priority. It needs to be a tool to enable you to communicate something. So the first priority always needs to be to master a situation in your real life. Okay, this is all for today. Drop me a comment. Please also feel free to subscribe. Check out my website. I have free flashcard templates for you there. And also, I have guides for you there that you can download. And as always, I do these promotions regularly. If you drop me a comment, I give you a discount on these useful guides. So you can check out the Everyday Nano method. You can create your ideal study routine. And I really, really hope this helps you in having less time and less struggle in your language learning journey. So thanks so much for joining me today, and see you in the next